Hello and welcome to I Am Not Your Tour Guide, but I am your host, Starla Skelton. This is a podcast and it's a place that you can visit when you want to hear travelers share their stories of places that have meant the most to them. So we are going to engage in their perspectives and discuss their inspirations behind it. So today, I get to cheer on the chronicles of my friend, my mentor, Dr. Darcova Triplett. Hey, Dr. Triplett.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, well, as you would say, I'm amazing. say it. I need to hear you say it.
Oh, ask me how I'm doing.
Oh, Dr. Triplett, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm amazing.
Oh my God. I love that. So to give our listeners a little bit of a background, Dr. Triplett and I, we work together in a co-taught setting in an elementary school that's in the suburbs of Atlanta. And so when I say that the consistency of a smile and a good attitude will get you further than anything, like you were that person for me in the building that I just knew I could count on as far as like think that building could have been on fire and coming to the ground and you were just going to be like, hey, it's going to be all right. Like you were that person for me, you know? So
Wow.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm glad that I could offer a little light.
Yes, no, you did, girl. You shine bright. So, just to give you a little bit of the accolades that you deserve, because you deserve them all. You are an artist. You're a poet. You're a writer, a mentor, a teacher. You teach in third grade right now, right?
Yes, third grade social studies.
Ooh, yes, that's awesome. And you love to inspire people and children in positive ways. So that to me, even though I've only known you a few years, that exudes a light. Like when I see you, you really do want to inspire people in this positive way. And it's amazing. But the thing that I love about you is that when it is time for a vacation, you are out. You have this phenomenal way of compartmentalizing your life. So like when it's time to work, you work. When it's time to dedicate yourself to a project, you dedicate yourself. But when it's time to vacation, you can set work aside and you can say, hey, it's time to work on myself. It's time to focus on myself. So my question is, you have made it this priority to put yourself first in certain points throughout your life. So do you feel that travel helps you reset yourself so that you can enhance your level of creativity?
Okay, so the way that I order it is my priority is vacation. And then the work and all of those other things have to fit in. Look.
Applause. Let me give you some applause over there.
Exactly. So my life is about, my goal is to create a lifestyle where I feel like I'm on vacation all the time. And then I get to go into the building to work with the students and to inspire and educate and encourage them. So when you ask the question, is the travel the reset? Actually, no. For me, I have learned that I can reset at the end of the day and start all over. I can reset 1 hour into the day and start all over. So I don't have to wait till the end and I'm tired or I'm exhausted or I'm overwhelmed. When I kind of feel it brewing up, it's time to stop and shift and go back to my vacation mode.
Yes. I love that. You could write a book on that. I mean, seriously, because don't you feel like maybe so many people, they just wait until vacation to let themselves relax?
Absolutely. So I have my calendar. I have a yearly calendar. And when I hear about things that are happening in the city or happening in another state or an art exhibit going on, I go ahead and put it on my calendar. So like right now, what's today, February 12th? My calendar, I have things on the calendar all the way through August 12th, the Beyonce concert. I get to go.
Yay!
I put those things on the calendar. So I don't have all the details. I don't have now I do have my Beyonce tickets, but I don't usually have, the reservations. Everything's not all booked, locked and loaded, but I know that's where I want to be. It also helps for me to spread everything out. Because what most people don't know is there can be a week, like 7 days in a row, and I can literally stay at home and do nothing and talk to nobody. I'll be okay. So it's not like I'm constantly on the go. It looks like that on social media, hey, but I'm not constantly on the go. I've learned I got to balance it. I have to balance that go with just being still and being quiet.
Oh man, no, that's amazing. And after you have those quiet times and after you feel like, hey, maybe it's time for me to go again, is there a certain city or country or place that inspires you most?
I was thinking about that. I've actually, the place is Las Vegas.
Ooh, okay.
So I was thinking, I've actually moved and lived in Las Vegas on five different occasions. Like I've lived there and moved away and come back and moved away. And so I'm thinking when I'm in Vegas, I'm not a slot machines. I don't do the casino kind of, like I like to know that I'm going to get a return on my money. I don't, risk things like that. I love the ambiance where you go on the strip and literally you can be in a different place at every hotel. From the outside architectural structures that I just, sometimes when I'm walking, I'm just looking at the hotels. I'm amazed at how those architects have used up all the space. And so you kind of just start going up. And then once you go inside, you can be from the Bellagio fountains, and then you go across the street and you're in New York, and you see the cobblestone. You're walking on the cobblestones and go down, and you're at the Venetian with the gondolas and the bridge. Yeah, it's Vegas. I love the art in Las Vegas.
Whenever you do travel around into other cities as well, is that one of the first things that you find yourself focusing on, like the artwork?
Yes. Whenever I know I'm going to travel somewhere, I'll see where I'm staying, where the hotel is, or where the home that we're renting is. And then I Google art museum. Where's the closest art museum to me? That's what I have to do. I have to go to the art museums, and I've started collecting the lapel pins. And so I have the lapel pins from the different art museums that I visit. That's my souvenir. And I just I love looking at them.
When you're traveling, do you ever meet people where you're able to say, oh, like I'm an artist as well. Would you like to see some of my work? Is it a chance for you to communicate and put your stuff out there as well?
Yes. So I have to maintain my healthy strut. So my routine is usually wherever I am, I'm getting up. Even if I'm with a group of people, I'll usually get up a little earlier than everybody else. So I'm up around 7, or sometimes I'm just waiting for the sun. I'm looking outside. I have a beautiful window right here. I'm like, is the sun coming up? I'm Googling what time will the sun rise? So that I can go ahead and go outside. And I literally just walk the streets. I usually stay in a safe area. So I'm just walking, whether it's like the downtown area or whether it's an art district. Sometimes you'll just see some TJ Maxx's and Marshalls. But even in that, I'm walking, and yeah, my mind is just a little different now because I'm going to see the art in everything.
Right.
So I'm looking at the buildings. I'm looking at the signage, the colors, the font, the trees, the flowers. So most people do a mile, you could probably walk a mile in about 20 minutes. Good. Like I used to do a good mile in 12, 13 minutes. Uh-huh. But now it'll take me all of 45 minutes to walk a mile because I'm cycling and I'm enjoying, the walk. I'll look up at the clouds. And, I don't know, when you were kids, you would kind of lay down on the ground. Did you ever do that? Lay down and just watch the clouds?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So I don't lay down because I'm too big and too old to just lay down. But yeah, I'll just stop and I'm looking at the clouds and looking at the shapes. And It's just I'm at a point in my life where I've learned to stop and really enjoy every moment.
So you see the beauty in everything around you, even those TJ Maxxes. You're like, oh, look how they put their sign up.
No, but because sometimes when they're doing the remodeling, of different departments, so the signage changes a little bit. And I mean, if you don't take the time to notice that, you won't know. But you asked about the people. So yes, I'm often on the streets and I'll just meet someone, and the conversations, I have no problem talking to anybody. My mom always says, don't talk to strangers. And I'm like, but if I don't talk, I won't know anything. Look, if I don't talk, I can't tell them about myself. So yeah, the conversations brew up very quickly because there are certain people who are up and out there early too. So that's why I don't feel so bad. That we're usually like-minded kind of people who are up and out around that early morning time. So I do get to talk about what I do, but I usually spend more time learning, spend more time listening.
Right. And, and one of the things that I love when we're messing around with each other, we talk about, we talk about how amazing we are. Like, you'll be like, I'm doing some amazing things. I am amazing. Look what I've done. And I love how unapologetically proud you are of your success. Like, you're not trying to cover it up. And I know, you are humble, but at the same time, you are not afraid to say, hey, I have done this. Look at what I've done. Share with me in this experience of what I painted. You are very unapologetic about loving yourself.
Right. And if you don't tell people what you're doing, they don't know. Somewhere somebody said, don't talk about yourself. That didn't happen in my household. In my household, my parents always told me I could do whatever, I could be whatever. And then they would sit down and say, now tell me about it. So they would listen to me. So, yeah, I have no problem talking about the things that I do for two reasons. One, I work really hard. Now, I do laugh a lot and I have a whole lot of fun, but I put in the work. And so I'm proud. I'm proud of what I do. And then on the second hand, I hope that I can inspire someone else. So it's kind of like I'm just a regular person from Atlanta and went to Atlanta public school system. Just my parents weren't filthy rich and we didn't have a big mansion. Just a regular person who has some dreams, and I'm following them, and I'm getting to meet a lot of people, getting to see some new things, learn some new things. And that's just what life is about. That's the growth. And so I just hope someone else is inspired, whatever your dreams are, whatever your aspirations are, no matter how big, no matter how small, it's significant. It's important. And you have to know that first. Man,
that's some advice. I hope somebody re-listens to that. They stop it and they rewind it and they're like, oh man, I needed to hear that today, And let me tell you this, even though I love that you say this, I think you're anything but a regular person. I think, girl, you out there, you on a different level, and I love it. And I did want to go back and hit really quick your healthy strut. How does being healthy, this healthy strut that you have come up with this concept, how does that help you in your day-to-day life?
Okay, so there's a quote, I just read it the other day, that says something like, your health is your wealth. My body, I have one body, and it's either going to take me a long way or it's going to expire a little, too soon. And I want to live long. I want to be that lady that you all read about when they do an interview on the news and they say, look at Darcova, she's 110 years old. I want to be her. I want to be when we're doing our 5Ks. My sister and I, she's definitely my 5K partner. They call us the 5K sisters. But we usually, can round up whoever wants to go. But we're walking and we're seeing people who are a whole lot older, and we're and not as healthy. You could tell they have some things going on, but they finished the race. And so I want to be her. I want to be her. I want to live long. I want to be healthy. I want to be my healthiest self. And so I know it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. There are things that we have to do on a daily basis. And so my go-to has been walking. You can just literally go outside and walk. As long as you're moving and getting that cardio, it's good for you. And then probably should jog a little bit if you can. They say we should do some weight training and, and strengthen your bones and all of that stuff. So I'm not, by no means am I a health fitness guru, but I do know that I have to move every day. And I have to watch the things that I eat. I have a family history where my family has had everything. So like you check off all the boxes when you go to the doctor's office. I don't want to check those things off. I just want to be healthy physically, mentally, and financially.
Yes. Yes. And if I'm bringing your walking back around for full circle to the travel aspect, that is my favorite form of travel. I see walking. I mean, you can literally, if I wanted to walk to Seattle, I could. I mean, it's going to take me, 6 months, but still I could do it. Right. So I see it as a form of travel. So when I go places and I'm visiting, man, walking is the best way to see it, to experience the culture around you, to experience people. Cause how are you going to start those conversations if you just in a car the whole time, Right, exactly. So walking, that's one of the things I love about Healthy Strut. You meet so many people doing it.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. And then let me add in, just put another plug for Las Vegas. It seems like I need a Las Vegas trip to come up soon. So like most cities that we go to, I don't necessarily, I have to map it out and see, but I won't get a rental car. Because like you say, you can walk 3 miles, you can walk 4 or 5 miles. And so that's what I've been doing. I'll see, okay, where we are. And then we want to go to this restaurant. And then how, what's the distance? And I'm like, oh yeah, we can do. And my friends are going, we're going to walk 3 miles to eat. And then do we have to walk back? Yeah. You just have to be intentional. Is get your mindset in place and just be intentional about that. And, like you just said, there's so many things to see when you're walking because you have to take your time. Then I was walking the other day and, so there's this gorgeous lake in my lake in
your
my neighborhood. And, so I'm walking and I noticed the ducks. You see the ducks. There's a crane that lives in our area. And then I happened to look down and there's a turtle. And so my sister, they laugh at me all the time. Like, it's just a turtle. I'm like, no, it's a turtle. Like, how often do you see a turtle up close, just, looking at you? He didn't even hide or anything. He was looking at me and I was looking at him and I took our pictures. And then, we went on about our way. But you just miss those little things that are actually miracles. So,
just the little stuff that tends to be the things you remember. You went on a walk, you saw that little turtle, you felt you had a moment with that turtle. It's funny how that's the thing you remember,
And that's what I talked about for the rest of the day. And everybody was like, what else happened? What else have you done today? And then I come back with what happened. When was the last time you saw a turtle?
So you are a natural leader. So in that, whenever you do plan these vacations, like you just said about Vegas and how you said, hey, we're going to walk 3 miles, because of your leader qualities, do your friends and your family and your people that travel with you, do they usually listen to you? Are they like, sure, yeah, I'll walk 3 miles to dinner?
You know what? They've come on board now. We're a little older now. We've meshed together. They don't think I'm crazy. They get it. Wow, I know that a lot of the things that I suggest that we do are not the traditional things, that people would normally do. I have the gift of fun. And so but let me say this, and I'm laughing, but the thing is, and this came to fruition, I clearly understood the other day. Like, I'm going to make sure if I take my time to go somewhere, I'm going to enjoy myself. So I'm going to look for ways to enjoy myself. I'm going to look for the fun. That's what I need to say I had fun. Like, it's already, when I leave, I already know I got to have some pictures and I got to have fun.
Yeah.
So if there's a situation where that may not happen, I won't even put myself out there. I won't even go, because my intention is to learn something and to have some fun and to dance. We line dance. So I need to be able to do all of those things wherever we travel to.
That's awesome. And so you are kind of the person that does that does the planning for a lot of your friends and family. So in the past, I have planned people's trips as well, for some people that I knew, some people that I didn't, and I traveled sometimes with them. But when I was creating these trips, I wanted them to be like a certain flow. I put a lot of time and effort and work into the planning so that it went the way I thought that they would have the most fun, that it would just be this enhanced experience. I believe that planning those trips was a creative outlet for me. Do you see travel as a creative outlet, as an art form? Like, how do you see travel?
Yes, it's an experience. The entire from packing your clothes, because you are the first piece of artwork that you exhibit. From packing the clothes to the suitcase, you got to take time with the suitcase that you're traveling with. There's a whole look that I need to have when I'm going to the airport. I know you're going to see people you probably didn't even see before. So am I advertising my art? Am I advertising another friend who has a business? Every minute is significant. So from the packing to the experience in the airport, I will not rush. I kind of get get a lot of feedback because I there's like a strut that I have about myself. I don't drive fast. I'm not going to be in a hurry. Excuse me. I'm not going to be in a hurry. I don't need to. I don't like that pressure. So I'm at the airport early enough to be able to go to the floor that has the art exhibits, because there's art all throughout airports. And then there's that time to just sit down and people watch, because they're showing me who they are, and I'm able to pick up a lot of things from them. And then actually, once we get to where we're going, but now we're there, I try to make sure my time is allocated enough to where I do have time to go to the art museum. For example, if I'm in town for an educational conference, I'm there on business, I have to work, but I make sure I plan that time to balance it out with an art exhibit. Or I'm not necessarily a foodie. I eat because we have to eat. So I don't have a particular palate about different restaurants. That's not a biggie on my list. But any architectural structures, if it's nature scenes, I'm Googling. I even Google famous statues in this city. There was one time we went to Milwaukee. Like, who goes to Milwaukee, right? So we're in Milwaukee, and there's the statue. It was a bronze statue of the Fonz from Happy Days.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to find that statue, and I got my picture by the Fonz. Milwaukee is great, too. They have their art museum. You have to get there early, because it's actually 3 buildings, and the one in the middle, when the museum opens, it has wings. And so you have to arrive. Listen, it was February. It was Valentine's Day. I never forget. It's snowing, and we've walked from the hotel about 2 miles up to the art museum, and the wings come up. I might be exaggerating, but I know it takes all of maybe 2-3 minutes for the wings to expand. This is how you know that the museum is opening. And it's just a beautiful sight. And I was like, who thought of that? Who thought of that? So the wings open at the opening, they close at lunchtime, and then they open back up and then close it. It's just beautiful. So yeah, you gotta, if you're ever in Milwaukee, you gotta go to the art museum and you gotta see those wings. Like that's amazing to me.
And you do this just by Googling? Like, what can we find?
Just Google. And one time we did a 24-hour from Atlanta. We did a 24-hour trip to San Francisco because they had the 5K Golden Gate Bridge 5K. So you got to have pictures about the Golden Gate Bridge, right? And so that way I was able to tie in my healthy strut, get in my art all together. And so, yeah, we got up that Saturday morning, caught a flight to San Francisco. We were there, checked in, walked around. And when I tell you, we knew that we were going to be there 24 hours. It was jam-packed with things that we wanted to do and things to see. There's a whole like graffiti art district in San Francisco. So we had to go there because it had all the 49ers. Woo, go 49ers. Had all the 49ers artwork. Yeah, you gotta take the time and you gotta be intentional about what you want to see when you're there. And then, did the 5K Sunday morning. And right after the 5K, checked out the hotel, came right on back to Atlanta. And so a lot of people, a few people were saying, you spent that much money for 24 hours, in California, you went cross country. I feel like I was there for a week. I mean, I did everything. Hey, I did everything I wanted to do. It's time to go back home.
That's amazing. You were just, that sounds like fun. That makes me want to plan a little 24-hour adventure.
Yes, it's great. So, sometimes people think when they're planning their travel, they'll wait for summer vacation, or wait for Christmas vacation because they'll have 2 weeks or have, however long. And that if you need that, okay. But I'm here to tell you that sometimes you can have just as much fun and get just as much done in 24 hours and be satisfied.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So I like your plug earlier for the Atlanta airport, that there you can go and see a lot of art. And I know that there is this sculpture exhibit that you can go and see a multitude of artists, but there's one spot. There's this artist from Zimbabwe and he has a lot of sculptures and they're beautiful. And I spent about 20 minutes in that little area last time I was traveling through. I love to see that art because we get a peek into their world, since art represents an exchange of culture, right? And so do you feel that it's important for people to go out in person, see the world, have those experiences? Or do you personally think that art can be a substitute for travel?
Oh, so to be there and see anything in person is truly an experience. However, sometimes you may be limited on funds. You may be limited, with work, with responsibilities. You cannot let that stop you. One thing that I started doing with our students this year, since the pandemic, we haven't done any field trips. So we go on virtual field trips. And so from August to December, we went to New York, we went to Washington, California, Florida, and then I got us passports. Ordered those cute little passports from Amazon.
That's awesome.
And so we were talking about Chinese New Year. So I say, hey, we're going to China. And so they have their passports. I ordered like the map stickers. And so that's that, because I explained the whole process where you have to have an application to get a passport. All of your records go to the American government so they'll know who you are and can track you down.
Yes.
In case anything happens. We talked about the embassies that get their stamp. And then we've been to China, we've been to Jamaica, and like the parents are going, Dr. Triplett, they really think they've been there. Like you can't tell them. For China, we watched the Chinese New Year parade. So we were in the parade, and yeah, you can literally, with technology today, there's no excuse. There's no excuse not to. And then like that parent said, you can't tell the children that they haven't been there. They literally, I have to remind them, they're 3rd grade, 9, 10, like this is not the real passport. Like this is just our version of it. I mean, they own those experiences. And so as adults, we can do the same thing too. We don't, some people are just so close-minded, and everything has to be a certain way. And in my opinion, in order to get the most out of life, we should just go ahead and understand that it's okay for things to not be so structured.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Like, take the experience where it is. Google wherever you want to go. Go ahead and Google it. I promise there's a YouTube video for everything. There's a YouTube video for everything. And you can be there and build up that anticipation, gain that knowledge of the area so that when you are in position to go physically, you know where you want to go. You don't waste your time, just roaming around. Hey, I want to go here. I want to see this. I want to experience that. And then you get the most bang for your bucks.
Right. How adorable would it be if, there were some parents that were like, hey, we're going on a vacation to Jamaica. We got to get our passports. And, your kids are already like, I already have mine. Why do I need to go get my picture taken? I got it right here.
I'm keeping the passports. I told them they're not going to take them home until the end of the year, end of the school year. So I have to keep, because I told them to your parents, this is something, that's very formal, very important. You don't just carry it in your book bag every day. So that's why I'm holding on to your passports. Another thing about the passports, so they'll get their stamp and then they take notes so that we're writing down these places, and they write down where they want to go and who they want to see in their passport. So hopefully at the end of the year, they'll go back and have a great reflection. The end of their elementary career, even when they're into adulthood, they'll be able to come back and remember, hey, I remember I went to China in 3rd grade. Let me go for real,
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
And as adults, I have several journals and scrapbooks and things like that. So, that's what I'm doing with them is what I do for myself, because I like to record where I am and what I'm doing and be able to reflect on these experiences and then make some decisions on what I want to do next.
Those passports, that's something that these parents, they're not going to get rid of. That's going to go in a box. That's going to go in a drawer. Like, that's something that whenever their kids are 30, they can say, oh, do you remember this from Dr. Triplett's class? That really is something they can go back and just have this nostalgic feeling with something like a passport. And that just further proves that travel, this little representation with a passport, it just opens up so many doors, creativity wise, right?
Yes, exactly. And then now they actually can even have a conversation, when they're with their families during the holidays, and they can talk about, because we did everything. The passports, they look real. I promise you, they look good. They look like the real thing. And so they can add to the conversation now. And so, be able to gain some experiences and then again, build that anticipation to where there's one little girl came to me and she said, Dr. Triplett, since it's Black History Month, I think we should go to Africa. And I'm like, yes, we should. That's our next trip. That's our next international virtual field trip.
That's going to be awesome. And it is Black History Month. And so I've been doing some reading lately. I was reading something from the amazing poet Maya Angelou the other day. Well, she's an author, actress, civil rights activist. I mean, her list, she is someone to aspire to. And I was reading this quote and she, related to travel. So I was like, perked up immediately. And she said, perhaps travel cannot prevent bigotry, but by demonstrating that all peoples cry, laugh, eat, worry, and die, it can introduce the idea that if we try and understand each other, we may even become friends. So I loved that. And it really just, it resonated with me. But how do you relate to her perspective?
Yes, I think it's important for us to first know who we are and get as much information about ourselves as we can. And then, yes, we venture out and we're open to learn someone else's culture. We're open to learn someone else's language. We're open to learn about their lifestyle because it actually only adds to who we are. A lot of times people think if I learn about someone else, it diminishes who I am, or no. It really adds to who you are because now you have a broader scope of, I'm going to say friends because, everybody I meet is my friend. I have a broader scope of friends, you have a broader scope of resources. And so now when you do decide that you want to travel to this place, I can call someone up and say, hey, I'm coming to your city. That's what I do, everybody. I may not get a chance to actually hang out with you, but I'll call and say, hey, I'm in your city.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can either give me some things. Okay, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? As opposed to you trying to go from scratch and trying to, again, wasting money and wasting time.
Right.
Yeah. So it definitely adds to who we are. And in my case, I've learned that I'm a very eclectic kind of person.
That's a good word. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm a very eclectic kind of person. And so, yeah, I have there's no one way that you should look, or you should dress. I promise I'll pull it all together. I'll put a little bit from here.
Your cowgirl boots? Ooh, girl.
Hey, those cowgirl boots go with everything. That's why I have them in several colors. Like, I have one friend who actually, she lives in Mexico, and she wears her cowboy boots every day. Like, I'm like, yeah, cowboy boots and shorts. Cowboy boots and a little short skirt. Of course, you can pull that together, but that confidence comes in knowing a little bit about why you're doing what you're doing. So yeah, knowledge is a great thing.
I love your perspective. It makes me just excited to hear it. And as a woman with a strong perspective and someone who you are very comfortable in being a woman as well as other things in life, but my grandmother, she used to tell me stories of her traveling in the 1950s. So she was a missionary. She decided when she was 18 years old, she wanted to be a missionary in Cuba, right? So in the 50s, women traveling, especially by yourself to go to another country, like that it wasn't something it was frowned upon, right? Like it wasn't something that was accepted. So as a woman, right now, do you still feel like there is a stigma with women that travel, that go off like you and say, hey, I am going to do a 24-hour vacation to San Francisco. I am going to go to Vegas and walk 3 miles to get to a restaurant. Like, do people still respond to you a certain way because you're a woman that's so strong and planning these trips? Like, how do you feel about that?
No, I don't get any negative feedback. The biggest thing I'll get, especially just like from my family members, just be careful, be safe, because they know that I know what to do. I know they're concerned about the other people around me. But yeah, 2023, I think, as a woman, whatever it is that you want to do, make sure you have a plan, make sure you tell somebody where you're going and go.
Right.
And go. There is no reason why you should not be able to travel alone. If somebody wants to go with you, fine. But what I've learned is there are some times when I just want to be by myself. I just kind of need that. And I think everybody needs that, whether we want to acknowledge it now or not. You need that moment alone with yourself to hear your thoughts and to hear your concerns and to hear your fears and to explore so that you can make choices that reflect you, that are not so much influenced by others. So yes, take the trip.
Do you think that extroverts, do you think they need a little extra time to kind of have that me time, to kind of have downtime? Because when they're out, they are 110%. So whenever they do have that down moment, it's like extra silence. Like, do you feel like that? Do you feel like that's in your life?
Yes, that's why each person, like, we can read about and we can share like what works for me, what works for you, but you have to know that your thing may be different from everybody else's around you. You have to figure out what gives you that peace. What do you need to balance out this life? I mean, it's challenging. It's challenging for a lot of people. There's a lot going on, especially right now, the mental health, and it's not new. It's just more prevalent. We're talking about it now. The depression, all of these things. So you have to take that time for yourself to kind of figure out, where am I? How do I balance this thing? From the beginning, I said that I'm 95. I'm lying now, but I think I said 95% in vacation mode and 5% goes to everything else. That's my perspective. That's how I maintain my sanity. Believe me, there's a lot going on in my life that I could be really depressed about and really overwhelmed about and really, just down in the slumps and say, well, I'm just going to sit here and wait for the change to happen. But that's not the choice I've made. I've decided to, let life be what it's going to be for everybody, and I get to live as well.
Yes.
So we get to own that and not hold other people hostage in being responsible for your happiness. You get to create your own happiness, and you get to be okay with that, regardless of what everybody around you thinks. As long as you're in a good space and you're okay with the decisions that you made and you're not hurting anybody.
Right. Gotta throw that out there.
Right. It doesn't have to look the same.
Right. And so you have this opportunity to work with third graders every day and inspire them and help them grow and figure out who they are. Do you have any plans of doing any sort of motivational speaking or writing or even traveling to other places to inspire people? Because you also, not only do you have a way with children, but you also have a way with adults. You're able to connect with them. You're able to sit with somebody. You have this ability to connect, and then they feel like they're being listened to. And when you get that you can inspire them. You can make a difference in their life. Do you have any plans to work with adults in your future?
So I count this. This is adults are going to listen to this podcast.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, they are.
Oh, there's a check. I don't have any formal plans. That life seems a little too structured for me. I want to be the person who just lives and you just see, and then you decide to take something with you or not. I don't want to be that preachy kind of person that says, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. Because I'll read and I'll listen, but I don't receive that way. Mm-hmm. So the way that I'll present is for people who will get me, who for people who I can't sit down and listen to you talk to me for 2 hours. I'm sorry. I'm sure that the content is exceptional, but me being required to sit down and listen, can I talk? Are we going to make something? Like it needs to be actively engaged. So I would never put anybody through that torture, no matter how wonderful I think my stories are.
You do have some phenomenal stories. So do you have any advice for anybody that's listening to this right now, for people who do want to travel to see some inspiring art? Like you mentioned Milwaukee earlier. Are there any certain museums or cities that you're like, hey, if art is your goal, these are some spots you should check out?
So the thing to know is there is an art museum in every city. Everywhere you go, there's an art museum. So Google it, find it, go there. There are particular artists who inspire me. So when we went to the Met in New York, that was like a wonderful experience. And, before you actually go inside, you have to take a picture on the steps. Like there's that picture on the steps with the sign behind you. But so when we went, and even like the African American Museum in DC, like these museums are huge. And as much as I love art, I'm not walking on all of those. I'm not doing all of that. Tell me where Basquiat is. Tell me where Kehinde Wiley is. Tell me where Carl Walker. There are some specific, of course, Van Gogh. There are some specific artist pieces that I want to see. So if anything on the way catches my eye, hey, that's a positive. But when I go to the art museums, I'm looking for the pieces that I'm familiar with, because those are the pieces that make me smile, that give me joy. And like I say, I'm open to learning, but I know what works for me. So I'm going to go with the intention of getting the picture, getting that experience. And I know I walk away satisfied.
So one thing I'm going to throw you for a little loop on here is that I like to do a couple Spitfire questions, fun ones,
Okay.
Not deep. You're not digging deep. This is just fun, superficial on the surface questions that I want to ask you, just so that our listeners that know you can laugh and don't know you can be like, oh my goodness, that girl. Okay. So
that Darcova. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. So you're going on a trip. You're going on a week vacation. And somebody said to you, I will give you $10,000 to spend in Belize, right? You got a week in Belize. I'm going to give you $10,000 to spend. But you cannot bring your cell phone and take pictures. Would you do it?
This is where you need the video so everybody can see my face. Yes, I would do it. Again, the experience is everything. And so I can take the money and then I can be able to come back with the camera. But yes, I would.
You would do it. Okay, good. All right, good. Number 2, either you have to leave your rolling luggage at home, right? So you got to put everything you want to pack in a backpack. So you got to carry it on your back, right? So you either travel with a backpack or you got to leave your earrings at home. And you can't bring no earrings. You got to go through a whole week's trip. You got all these outfits. You got your boots on. You got all your clothes on. You're looking good, but you can't put on no earrings.
That'll be a no. I have to have on earrings. I have to wear earrings. It's kind of like you have to wear earrings. If you don't have earrings, go back home. Go back home. Like, there have been plenty of times when I forgot earrings and I turned around and I was just late for work. But now I just keep an extra pair in the truck. But no, I have to have my earrings. But I do pack light. Just for the record, I usually try to just have a carry-on anyway.
That's good.
So yeah, but no, I have to have my earrings.
Okay, all right. So as far as modes of transportation goes, if I said to you, hey, let's take a train from DC to San Francisco, would you rather take a train to DC to San Francisco, or would you rather drive yourself? Like, you got to be the one driving.
Oh, so that's no to driving. Like, I don't even want to drive around the city. Like I have been trying to figure out how much it would cost to get an Uber to take me to work and bring me home every day. No, so driving is out of the question. A train trip is actually on my list. I want to do that trip where I think you go you go cross country. I'm not sure which city to city, state to state, but yeah, that's on my list. I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be, right? And you get to see the countryside along the way. Right. Yeah, exactly. Just a good experience. So,
I know how much time do we have? So here's another story. So we did do a road trip one time. Well, the first time I moved to Vegas, we actually drove from Atlanta to Las Vegas, and we took three days. We drove from Atlanta to Texas to New Mexico to Vegas. That was great. That was wonderful. And it was like December. We left on Christmas morning. So it was December. So you got to see the winter, got to go through a little snow. That was a wonderful trip. Did
the snow affect the roads at all as you were driving?
No, it wasn't. It was more so I guess ice. And they had cleared it by the time we came through.
Right. Threw some salt down on the roads. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that was a really good road trip. So if you have an opportunity, and then you have to, like, now I'm not going to say never. I don't want to be in a car for more than 4 hours now. 4 hours is my max. I need a plane. I need to get on a plane. But, as you have to experience these things to know, because there are some people who will drive till the wheels fall off because they don't mind the road trip. So you have to experience the road trip, experience the plane, experience the train, and then you know what you want and what you don't want. So,
exactly. Yeah. Right. Trial and error for sure.
Exactly. Right.
So last question. If somebody said to you, $5,000, 2 weeks off school, anywhere you want, where are you going? It's got to be $5,000. So that's not a huge budget, but it's not, it's not hosteling, backpacking from spot to spot. That's,
Right.
I'd say that's a medium budget, but
Right.
plane tickets included. You got $5,000 to spend somewhere for 2 weeks. Where are you going?
And it's not necessarily the money. I'm thinking about the trip. The next trip I need to go to the Grand Canyon. I haven't been there. And so I believe I probably have some money left over from the 5,000. But yeah, somebody can pay for me to go to the Grand Canyon. I need that experience.
Do you want to hike once you get there, or are you going to stay on the top looking into the canyon?
The East Rim to be able to get a picture on the edge of the world. I don't know if you figure, like, a lot of my travels did, like, I can see myself, I can see the picture, and so that kind of guides where I go. But yeah, I need to be, so I could probably use the extra money for outfits and things like that.
Yeah. Would your dream vacation be one where you have your own personal photographer?
Oh, does that have to be a vacation? Like, I need my own personal photographer right now. I think of course, because and especially if it's a professional photographer, because they have the eye. And I'm not going to say professional. It needs to be a creative person who has the eye and can capture the moments. So yeah, I think we all need one of those in our lives.
Yeah, definitely. So this has been fun. You are a ball of energy. It just comes through. It comes through in the microphone. It comes through. I mean, I get to look at you, so I see your excitement in your face. Is there a window open, by the way? Because you're glowing on this side.
Okay, yeah. So this is in my home. In this room that I'm in, there are 2 windows here, and then straight through the door, the windows. Because I have the high ceiling, so I'm on the 2nd floor, so the windows are here. So, but I naturally glow, though. Yeah,
natural glow. Oh man.
But yeah, it's the windows.
So I was gonna say this is your spot, your opportunity. I need for you to tell me anything you want to plug, anything you want our listeners to know. Where can we find you? Where can we find you? What you doing?
Okay, so the best way to find me right now is on Facebook, Darcova Matrice. And then I really want everybody to go to my website, www.darcovamatrice.com. And here is where you'll be able to access the books that I have for sale. I have published a few collections of poetry. You will be able to purchase the art that I've painted, which is available on tote bags, mugs, journals, shower curtains. And also my newest thing is wearable art. I have been working with this company in Canada who takes my paintings and they make the fabric and then they make clothes. So
that's
all
awesome.
of that can be found on my website, darcovamatrice.com.
I love it. Oh man, you got a lot going on. I cannot wait to check this out. I need a piece of art.
Right.
To
and
wear.
So if you do go ahead and purchase something, please take a picture. I mean, you can send me a message so that I'll know, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the support in advance. But if you haven't picked up on it yet, I really want to see a picture. I want to see you with the art, or you wearing the wearable art. I'd love to see that.
Oh man, I love it. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, sharing your excitement for art, for travel, for the infusion of both, just kind of showcasing your personality, which is always fun. We'll have to do this again. I know we could probably do 10 more just on your stories and travel stories and your art stories and just your outlook on life. So, maybe we can do this again one day soon. Okay.
Thank you for having me. I have thoroughly enjoyed this time.
Good, good. Thank you so much. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is prohibited on the entire aircraft, including the lavatories. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight attendants.